Well, welcome to Copenhagen, welcome to Complete Car, and here we are with the new Nissan Leaf, on the road with it for the first time. But here are 10 things you need to know about this Leaf. So you'll have noticed that the Leaf has switched from being a conventional 5-door hatchback into being much more of a crossover-y shape, although it's still really sleek. And actually, it's the aerodynamic performance that plays a huge part in this car's range. In fact, Nissan has managed to get the coefficient of drag, that's how slippery this car is through the air, down to a figure of 0.25. Now that's actually really impressive, and funnily enough, it's better here in Europe than it is in the US or the rest of the world, because Europe gets a unique wing mirror design, and that just cuts the drag coefficient by that tiny little bit and makes it more slippery, more efficient, and gives you that bit of extra range, and that is what's crucial. So the biggest battery you could get in the old Nissan Leaf was 62 kilowatts. Well, this is the new big battery variant, and you've got 75 kilowatts worth of stored energy in a nickel manganese cobalt battery, NMC battery, here under the floor, and that gives it a potential range of up to 622 kilometers, assuming you can average in and around 13 to 14 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers of energy usage. But it's not just about the outright range. Nissan is saying that it wants this Leaf to be really easy to charge, so it's given it a 150 kilowatt DC charging power. Now, that's not outrageously powerful, but crucially, what Nissan says, and we haven't had a chance to try it out yet, but it's that you can regain up to 420 kilometers of range in just 30 minutes charging. That, if it's accurate, should make this Leaf massively more usable, certainly compared to the old one. So what this Leaf does have is an illuminated badge on the front, but what it doesn't have is a frunk or a storage area under the bonnet here, and that's because Nissan has pushed all of the heating, ventilation and air conditioning equipment up into here. So that's not great from a practicality point of view, but it is good from a range point of view, because what's going on under here is really clever. There's a four-way valve that interconnects the battery, the electric motor, the charging system and the cabin heating and cooling. And they can all interact with each other. So if you've got heat building up in one area, it can be sent to another area maybe that needs it, or you can send coolant from one area to another. So in other words, the battery is helping to warm up the cabin on a cold day, or you're helping to cool down the battery on a warm day. Everything is trying to be kept at those useful temperatures. So you want to keep the battery at about 25 degrees Celsius to make it at its most efficient. So it's doing that, but it's also using excess energy to help cool down or warm up the cabin, depending on what you need. It all makes it more efficient, and again, it adds to that potential 622 kilometer range. So the fourth thing you need to know about this new Nissan Leaf is how clever its roof is. Now, as you can see, you get a full-length panoramic roof, but it doesn't have a sunshade. Instead, it's using liquid crystal technology that allows you to dim out sections of the roof. And as you can see, you get the Nissan Leaf logo here when it's partially open or partially closed. Now you can have it fully closed like that, you can have it fully open, you can have sections of it open, but that's not the critical bit. There are two parts to this roof. Because it doesn't need a mobile sunshade, it does away with about 7 kilos worth of weight, and also it means that you can set the roof down lower, which saves about 30 millimeters of overall height in the car, and that adds to the aerodynamics, and that makes the car more efficient. So that's all good. But what's also good is that it's heat absorbing. So you're cutting down the amount of cooling you need inside the cabin on a warm day. So this roof does not just look cool, and it will not just delight your kids in the way it dims and undims electronically. It is actually contributing to the overall efficiency of the vehicle. So you've got twin displays here behind the steering wheel in the new Nissan Leaf. These are your instruments, and this is of course your infotainment screen, but this infotainment screen is particularly clever, and when you start using it you'll see why, because it's fully Google integrated. You've got Google Maps built into the system, and that not only allows you to set your usual favorite destinations, but when you do put in a destination, it'll automatically work out what charging you need en route. It's a very clever system. Actually, you can also use this from the steering wheel, because there are nice tactile little controls here on the steering wheel, or of course you can just touch it with your fingers. You can actually go to the Google store and get new apps. You can have, as you can see on the screen here, you can have Amazon Alexa built in, you can have YouTube, you can have Spotify, you can have all sorts of other things. This is a really versatile system, and it is good to use. It's also really good to use because you get these separate controls here that aren't on the screen. These look after your heating and your cooling and your air conditioning. You've also got proper physical buttons here on the steering wheel. These are multifunction. These allow you to switch between controlling what's on this screen and what's on that screen. It actually works really well. It's ergonomically very sensible. And actually, crucially, there's a dimmer switch here. Always on. You don't have to go hunting in the screen for it. So driving at night, that's going to make life a lot easier. One of the things that helps, again, with that aerodynamic performance are these pop-out door handles for the Nissan Leaf. Now, these can be a bit controversial. Certainly in China, they're talking about potentially banning these because of a spate of accidents where people haven't been able to get in and out of cars. But this does have them. The crucial thing is that it's not an electronic catch. As you can see here, you actually do have to pull it. It's a mechanical catch. So it does skirt around some of the potential safety issues there, and also Nissan says in the event of an accident these will always pop out, so you will always be able to get access to the vehicle. Let's certainly hope so. So the next thing you need to know about the Nissan Leaf is the charging. Well, I've already mentioned that, haven't I? 150 kilowatts on DC power or 11 kilowatts on AC power. Perfectly standard stuff. Well, yes, but this is going to be one of the first cars on the market with a full range of charging options. And I don't mean charging the car, I mean the car charging other stuff. So it will have vehicle to load, which means you'll be able to charge other electrical items using this and an adapter. It'll have vehicle to house, so you'll be able to run your house off of any spare capacity that's in the battery if there's a power cut. And it'll have vehicle to grid. Now, lots of cars have vehicle to grid, and we can't use vehicle to grid yet in Ireland, but it is coming, and the Leaf is going to be ready for it. The next thing you need to know about the Nissan Leaf is just how practical it is. Now, I've already said there's no frunk in the nose, so that's a bit of a shame, but the boot is nonetheless pretty useful. You get 437 litres of load space here and dedicated cable storage in here at the side. You see this little strap here? That's to hold the charging cable in place, which means if you've got a boot full of stuff, you don't have to take it all out to get at your charging cable. The boot is also very versatile, just like it is in the Qashqai. You get these panels that move, you can take them out, you can lower them down, you can change the shape of the boot, you can use these to divide up the boot so that stuff doesn't get mixed up. That is all very, very handy. So yeah, not the biggest boot in the world, but certainly a very useful one. The next thing you need to know about the Nissan Leaf is its coolest design feature. Now, we're not used to Leafs having any cool design features really, but this one does. If you look at the back of the car, first of all, there's a distinct hint of Nissan Z car about the overall shape. That's really nice. But the pièce de résistance, at least for higher spec models, are these brake lights, which you'll notice are in 2 and 3 sections. And in Japanese, ni is 2, san is 3, Nissan. Isn't that a lovely touch? You'll find these shapes elsewhere in the car, incidentally. They're kind of scattered around like little Nissan Easter eggs. Really like that as a design touch. The last thing you need to know, the 10th thing you need to know about the new Nissan Leaf is the rear seat space. And to be honest, this is probably the weakest aspect of this car. As you can see, I just about fit behind my own driving position, but my knees are just brushing the backs of the front seat. And I'm also sitting with my knees quite high, so that floor is higher than really is perfect for comfort. That said, the seat, and you do get this lovely two-tone upholstery in higher spec models, the seat itself is very comfortable, and I get a good view out through a nice big side window. There are also useful seat back pockets and 2 USB sockets down here. So it's not bad, but I just wish it was a little bit roomier back here. Well, those are the 10 things you need to know about the new Nissan Leaf. For more on the Leaf, and indeed more on every new Nissan, and indeed every new car on sale in Ireland, do check out CompleteCar.ie. While you're here on YouTube, do like and subscribe to this feed, and don't forget to check out our social media feeds for even more about the Leaf and just how much range it really has.